Jai Gurudev, yes, one of the most powerful themes in the West Wing is the importance of taking responsibility even when things go wrong. How can spiritual practices help leaders embrace accountability without getting consumed by guilt or fear? Jai Gurudev, yes, accountability is the mark of a leader who has inner strength. When things go wrong, it's easy for a leader to feel overwhelmed by guilt or shame, but spiritual practices like meditation and pranayama help release such negative emotions. Sudarshan Kriya specifically helps in purging the emotional toxins that we accumulate. This purification process allows a leader to take full accountability without carrying the burden of past mistakes. In the West Wing, President Bartlett's decision to publicly acknowledge his MS diagnosis is a powerful example of this principle. His ability to take his own mistakes. Yes, his ability to own his own mistakes without being consumed by guilt is something that meditation and mindfulness can greatly facilitate. By embracing the moment and learning from past actions, leaders move forward toward greater strength. In Vedic wisdom, the idea of karma is central to the understanding of accountability. Every action has its consequences, and leaders who are aware of their actions can acknowledge mistakes and seek to rectify them. Spiritual practices like satsang, the company of the wise, help leaders see things from a broader perspective so they are not bogged down by self blame. Instead, they focus on moving forward with a sense of responsibility and duty, just as we see Bartlett do after revealing his MS. True accountability is not about self punishment, it's about learning, growing, and acting with a renewed commitment to the greater good. CJ is one of the most empathetic characters in the West Wing, and her ability to communicate with both compassion and authority sets her apart. How do practices like Gayatri Japa or Pranayama help develop these qualities in a leader? Jayodevya's empathy and compassion are key qualities for any leader, especially in roles where tough decisions are made. Practices like Gayatri Japa, which invoke the divine light of wisdom and clarity, help open the heart. When a leader is able to approach others with an open heart, they can understand the nuances of human emotions as CJ does with the press and other characters in the series. Similarly, pranayama helps clear the mind of distractions and emotional turbulence, allowing a leader to respond with genuine concern instead of being driven by external pressures or personal agendas. This internal clarity enables the empathy to flourish, making leaders like CJ more effective in their roles. Compassion is at the heart of Dharma in the Vedic tradition. A compassionate leader is one who sees the divine in every individual, recognizing their struggles, desires, and challenges. Practices like Gayatri Japa purify the mind and heart, enabling a deeper connection with others. When a leader practices such forms of devotion, they begin to lead not just with intellect but with the compassion and love. Caesar's ability to engage with the press, even in moments of tension, comes from his understanding, her understanding and empathy for the human experience, which is nurtured through spiritual practice. By practicing these tools, leaders can naturally grow their capacity to lead with compassion and understanding. One of the strongest themes in the West Wing is the deep trust and camaraderie between President Bartlett's team. How can practices like sadhana and Agni Karyam contribute to a leader's ability to foster teamwork and trust? Building trust within a team starts with the leader themselves. A leader who is grounded, clear headed, and centered can more easily foster an environment where collaboration thrives. Sadhana, a dedicated spiritual practice, cultivates the inner strength and discipline needed to lead effectively. When a leader is consistent in their own practice, it creates a ripple effect within the team as their behavior inspires others to trust in their guidance. Agnikaram, the practice of fire offering, symbolizes purification, transformation, and renewal. When leaders engage in this practice, they are continuously refining themselves, which can inspire their teams to trust them. The sense of shared purpose, even in the West Wing, is a result of this trust that is fostered by leadership grounded in wisdom and humility. In our tradition, leadership is not about power but about selfless service to others. The practice of Agnikaram purifies the leader's mind and heart, allowing them to serve with love and humility, just as Bartlett and his team display loyalty and trust. This is a result of the values they hold dear, values that are reinforced through daily spiritual practices. The sense of unity and camaraderie that we see in the White House team mirrors the harmonious relationships created when a leader is committed to their own growth and service. This trust is built through consistency, empathy, and shared purpose, qualities that emerge naturally from spiritual practices like sadhana. In the West Wing, characters like Leo and Bartlett are always mindful of the legacy they will leave behind. How can spiritual practices help leaders build a lasting legacy that transcends their time and power? Legacy is not just about achievements, it's about the impact a leader has on others and the world. Spiritual practices help leaders stay connected to the greater vision of their life's purpose. When a leader practices meditation, they can gain insights into the broader picture of their legacy. They come to understand that their influence extends far beyond their time in power. Practices like satsang, pranayama, and sadhana help align a leader's actions with their deeper values, ensuring that their legacy is one of service and compassion. This is clearly reflected in Bartlett's journey. Despite his personal struggles, his larger vision for the country and its people is what endures. A true leader thinks not of their personal gain but of the welfare of others. In our tradition, we often speak of leaving a legacy of dharma, a legacy of righteousness and good deeds. When a leader is spiritually grounded, their actions are guided by a sense of purpose greater than themselves. Bartlett's decision, despite personal cost, show the essence of leadership grounded in a vision for a better world. Spiritual practices like mantra japa and padma sadhana keep the mind focused on the larger purpose, guiding the leaders' actions to be in service of a greater good, thus leaving a lasting impact that transcends time. This conversation has been a profound exploration of how leadership can be enhanced by spiritual practices like those taught by R. Fleming and Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji. From accountability and empathy to emotional intelligence and legacy building, the tools of meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, and more offer leaders powerful ways to navigate their journeys with wisdom, clarity, and compassion. Absolutely, by integrating these spiritual practices into daily life, leaders can become more connected to their true essence, allowing them to lead from a place of integrity, service, and wisdom. Their influence can then ripple outward, affecting not only their teams and organizations, but society as a whole. Leadership is an ongoing journey of growth and service. Spiritual practices are not just tools, they are pathways that allow leaders to connect with their higher purpose and serve humanity with love, compassion, and wisdom. This is how lasting, meaningful change is created. Jai Gurudev. In the West Wing, we see many characters fail or make mistakes. Josh says burnout, Bartlett says hidden misdiagnosis, and even Leo says relapse. How can spiritual practices help leaders deal with failure and come back stronger? Jai Gurudev, yes, failure is not the end, but rather a stepping stone to a greater learning. Spiritual practices like Sudarshan Kriya provide a framework for releasing the emotional and mental blocks that come with failure. These practices help to cleanse the mind, allowing a leader to view failure with a self blame to understanding and growth. Take, for instance, Leo's relapse. His journey of recovery is aided by his own self reflection and the emotional healing that comes from practices like pranayama and satsang. These tools help leaders approach failure with a sense of grace and humility, transforming setbacks into opportunities for growth. The concept of adversity as a teacher is deeply embedded in Vedic philosophy. The teachings of Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji emphasize the importance of facing challenges with a calm and steady mind. When a leader engages in practices like Agni Karyam or Gayatri Japa, they strengthen their resolve and gain clarity in difficult moments. As seen in the West Wing, characters like Josh, who struggle with PTSD, can find healing and strength through their personal commitment to growth, just as those who practice spiritual disciplines rebuild their mental and emotional strength after facing a setback. Routine and discipline are key in leadership roles. In the West Wing, we see that maintaining a sense of order in the midst of chaos is crucial. How do practices like sadhana and trikalsadhya contribute to this level of discipline? Discipline is a direct result of inner calm and clarity, and spiritual practices are the foundation of that discipline. Sadhana, a daily practice of meditation, pranayama, and service, instills a sense of order in the mind and life. When a leader commits to a daily spiritual routine, they train the mind to focus, avoid distractions, and build resilience against external pressures. Trikalsandhya, the morning, noon, and evening prayers, provides structures to the day, offering a sacred time to reconnect with purpose and rejuvenate the mind and soul. As we see in the West Wing, leaders like Bartlett have a deep commitment to their work, often sacrificing personal time. Having a routine rooted in spirituality can sustain a leader's mental and emotional endurance, which is crucial for high pressure roles. Our ancient texts emphasize that the key to a balanced life is in discipline and consistency. The practice of Trikal Sandhya anchors a leader's day in a rhythm of devotion and reflection. Much like Bartlett's relentless pursuit of his vision despite personal challenges, leaders who adhere to daily spiritual practices develop the mental discipline to stay focused on their larger purpose. The repetition of these practices instills a deep sense of clarity and balance, preventing burnout and helping leaders navigate their duties with a sense of poise and integrity. One of the most authentic characters in the West Wing is President Bartlett. Despite his brilliance, he never hides or his flaws and always leads from the heart. How do practices like satsang and mantra chanting support leaders in maintaining authenticity? Authenticity arises from being deeply connected to one's inner truth. Spiritual practices like satsang, the company of like minded individuals, and mantra chanting helps a leader align with their inner values. Mantras, especially those rooted in ancient wisdom, have the power to purify the mind and open the heart. By regularly chanting these mantras, leaders can stay grounded in their core principles and remain connected to their true selves. This prevents the rise of ego or artificial facades, allowing leaders like Bartlett to openly express their vulnerabilities, as seen when he admits to his misdiagnosis. Authenticity in leadership is not about perfection but about embracing one's imperfections and leading with sincerity. In Vedic tradition, Satya or truth is one of the highest values. The practice of satsang allows a leader to be surrounded by those who share a similar spiritual journey, helping them stay true to themselves. By practicing mantra japa and connecting to their inner wisdom, a leader becomes more self aware and authentic. Bartlett's ability to admit his faults publicly, to speak from the heart, is a reflection of this deep inner alignment with truth. Spiritual practices create a space for such authenticity to thrive, fostering leadership that is both grounded and genuine. Many of the characters in the West Wing, especially Sam Seaborn, are tasked with creating innovative solutions to complex issues. How can spiritual practices unlock creativity and innovation in leadership? Creativity is an expression of a clear and open mind. When the mind is clouded with stress, anxiety, or distractions, creativity becomes stifled. Practices like Sudarshan Kriya and Pranayama work to remove these mental blocks, allowing the natural flow of creativity to emerge. By engaging in spiritual practices, leaders can tap into deeper levels of intuition and insight. For instance, Sam Seaborn, with his sharp intellect and creativity, often finds innovative ways to tackle policy problems. Such breakthroughs are made possible when the mind is freed from the clutter of stress and negativity, which is what these spiritual practices provide. These tools help leaders think outside the box and come up with the novel solutions to complex problems, just as we see in the way Sam crafts speeches and policy proposals. The Vedic tradition places a high value on innovation that serves a greater good. The practices like yoga, agni karyam, and sadhana allow a leader to tune into a higher level of consciousness where inspiration flows freely. The practice of Shakti Kriya especially helps in unlocking latent potential and fosters a sense of clarity that encourages creative thinking. Just like Sam, who draws from his deep understanding of the world to create solutions, leaders who practice these tools are more likely to approach challenges with their fresh perspectives and innovative solutions. Finally, in the West Wing, we see that true leadership is not about personal gain, but about service to the people. How do spiritual practices support leaders in staying grounded in the principle of service? Service is the natural outcome of a heart that is full of gratitude and compassion. Spiritual practices like satsang and seva or selfless service remind leaders that their role is not to accumulate power or status but to serve others with integrity and humility. Satsang provides a space for leaders to connect with the like minded individuals who reinforce the importance of serving humanity. By practicing sadhana, leaders learn to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, which naturally translates into a mindset of service. As we see with Bartlett and Leo, the greatest leaders in the show are those who